This is Head and Shoulders ATR, and we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And today, you see the topic of the video. We're going to be covering Parchment and what he did on behalf of Jamaica, and also a little bit about Grant Holloway. From one perspective, he really underperformed, and from another perspective, we also have to honor the people that have done well. So Parchment, as you see it here, Parchment has shown Jamaica that they can win gold without McLeod. Now, some people are arguing already that that McLeod was needed to do a Jamaican sweep because that would have been possible. But if it ended up pretty much the same way as it did now, then it would have really only been Jamaica 1 and 2, and then Levi would have been left out. So it really wasn't necessarily a possible way to get a Jamaican sweep. And this was more, this is really kind of about Holloway defeating himself too, because the final wasn't particularly fast about how it was built up to be. Now, Parchment did get a season's best, if I am not mistaken in this. We're about to see this in just a second, but there's a congratulations that go after him. So we're going to cover over that race, and here we go. So he had a season's best. Here it is on the result. SB is season's best, and Parchment winded up winning. Holloway in second, Levi in third. Allen, he was just out of the mix. He was not there. So they were going against the negative. I don't know why the Olympic site keeps doing this. That's weird that it scrolls up when I try to highlight over something, but they were going against a negative, if you see where my hands are, 0.5 meter per second headwind. So that means maybe it was a little bit slow, but maybe it was just the speed there. I think that they would have broken 13 seconds here, which, I mean, in itself, that would have been good. But hey, Parchment winded up winning. Levi in third. Holloway, he defeated himself here. So let's cover Holloway. So he got out, maybe not as strong as he normally did, but he still had about 1.5 meters or a stride and a half on the rest of the field. Increased his lead in the middle of the race. And one of his biggest weaknesses is that when he gets toward the end of his race, when he gets toward that later section of the race, he winds up faltering. They said this is him suffering from the Christian Coleman disease. So same thing with Christian Coleman. Got out hard, has a good beginning of his race, and then he fades in that latter half, in that closing 20 to 30 meters. So, I mean, it was there. Now, some people, I guess I'll cover that after this, but so Parchment, he winded up getting out fair with the field. And about midpoint during the race, about halfway through, getting over those hurdles, he started to make a move toward Grant Holloway, and you could see that. And of course, I can't cover it because of copyright strike. So up until after the Olympics, maybe I'll go back over this. But for now, unless you want to do if you join the Patreon, we can actually cover these step by step on where the different sections of the race where they could have used improvement, just like a perfect start and a perfect finish. It'll be kind of hard for me to cover that on YouTube because of copyright strike, but definitely we can do that, and it goes down in the Patreon that we just created. With that being said, what he did, he came out in his race. It was a fair start. He came out slightly ahead of some of the guys in the field. Mid-race, like I said, about midpoint, 45, 50 or so meters, he winded up picking it up, and then he made his charge toward Grant Holloway. At the same time as that, Levi was making a charge toward the lead, but Holloway started to just fade and crumble hard. It was worse than his normal performances. He started to put his head up, his shoulders were doing that, and then I guess he started to relax. And then, yeah, you can even hear it out in my voice. I'm trying to put my head up, and then I even sound a little bit different. Now here, Ronald Levi, he did what he could do. He tried to go out there. He said he was excited and everything, that he did his best that he could do, especially when he got injured. I think he said his foot was broken at one point. He came and recovered from that after some years, of course. And then he came here and got a bronze medal. So congratulations to that. Now, here's the thing that I want to point out. So some people were angry with Grant Holloway. And I got to say, from a one perspective, he's 23 years old. So he's happy that he actually qualified for this Olympics, right? So under one aspect, he's happy that he did that. But under another aspect, he's not having the energy or the drive, because right after his race, he seemed to like just light up in a smile and everything. And so on one aspect, it's like, man, this guy got a silver medal. But from the other aspect, when you put that in the weight of the rest of the United States and how the United States is underperforming on each and every level, that's just like, okay, man, you should be looking more like this photo that's on the screen right now versus that bright and cheesy smile that you had right after the end of the race. And maybe that was a smile of disappointment. Maybe that was a look that was a little bit different, but at least it would have been different. And here, obviously, you have your winner, Parchment, where he's over here and he's celebrating. Some people have argued this too, where if you look at this, Rai Benjamin, I mean, what more can you do? You broke a world record. The other guy broke the world record faster than you, and then he still finished in front of you. And this man broke down crying. He broke down and felt disappointed, broke down and said, I could do better. Even if you saw him after the race, he was just in disbelief, like, what? I still can't get this man? I've been training my butt off and everything. That is the fire that I would think I would need to see in an athlete. And many people think they need to see in these athletes because USA has been underperforming. Like, hey, if you get second, if you ain't getting first and you're getting second, that's just like, okay, maybe later on I can justify it, like that was the best I did. But right now at this moment, and as I'm preparing to train next year, and as I'm still an athlete, I need to get first. I need to win. I need to do X, Y, and Z. And so his face showed that right after that. And so many people were expecting Grant Holloway to actually make a similar look, done similar face to that. So I think that in itself would really just take away from the whole performance with Grant Holloway. What do you guys think about that? Do you think when somebody loses, for example, how Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, she lost, you saw her after that race with the utter look of disappointment and anger. You all know the face. Anybody that's just trying to say, oh, she was just looking at the clock. No, you saw her before she ended the race, right after she ended the race, and all in between that. When she came through the line, it was just like it was more anger than it was surprise. It was just frustration, all there bottled up in her face. And you could see that come out of her. You could see it come out of her. And so that's the look that many of us were looking for. Now, a lot of the athletes that are here, including Rai Benjamin, when he was doing that, this is how I was looking. This is how a lot of people were looking. And many people were doing some worse looks than that. Okay. I was looking like, you sure you want to smile right after that? He had an extremely smooth transition from going from he lost and straight into that. And so I got to look at him like this too. Like, dude, what is going on? But anyway, let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Definitely consider joining the Patreon where you will support the channel and we get to do actual live reviews of the races so that they don't get copyright struck in, because we're not trying to show the race here. We're trying to do that from a learning perspective for all of us, because there are many athletes that are here that are viewing this YouTube that learn from it. There are athletes, there are coaches, there are officials that follow this as they've identified themselves. So, and many people with world championship aspirations, with world youth championship aspirations and Olympic aspirations. And I think that something like that is very, very important and what's needed. Obviously, I like to analyze pole vault. I like to analyze some sprints and some distance. I can do those with various degrees. And if I can't do it fully, what I am going to do is bring somebody else that would be better at analyzing those specific events, whatever it is, hurdles. Like hurdles, I wouldn't have the best analysis over the hurdles. I can give you a general analysis. I know I can do that very well, that I can say, all right, with the arm carry, with where your foot is supposed to land or things like that. But I'm not going to have that expert analysis. I can give you what I would, in my opinion, would be expert analysis on pole vault. I can tell where the athlete, if they're going to make it over or not, other than their confidence level. That's going to determine something too, going upside down. That's a confidence level, putting their legs together. But the run up where they put the pole, is it a perfect pole placement? All of those. Are they accelerating into there as they're letting the pole down? They start in the upwards angled position and then they let the pole down at the correct angle. Are they doing that in conjunction with each other? I can break each and every part of that down for you. So there has some strengths and weaknesses, but I definitely am going to put the best foot forward so we can have this as a learning platform as well as looking at these races. So with that being said, I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.